Impact Wrestling. Before I get started, and hopefully I don't mess up again, this is now the 6th time I screwed up. I wanted to make this special, guys, because this is the supposedly new era where there might not be any more AEW. They are trying a new direction with Impact Wrestling, so I thought I'd do a little something different. I kept screwing up. But let's talk about a couple of things before starting with this Impact review. One, I am releasing a ROH video tomorrow for my Gump report. I did look at JD, I looked at Just Alex. I have not seen Solomonster. I'm going to see if I can watch it after I do this review. And I'll see if Slug Daddy has released anything. I don't think he has, but if he has, I'll see his point of view. But I already made my own thoughts, but I want to know how the other prominent YouTubers who do wrestling, their thoughts. It's not going to change how I feel and how I thought, but I thought I'd hear what they say, so I can add it to the video. Second, as you can see, the poster's gone and this is up. That's temporary. I have not printed up the new pictures yet. What happened is this, guys. In the beginning of the year, you know I went and got my AEW poster. I did. It wasn't very large. And I decided I was going to get a couple of more, but I couldn't find what I wanted. So I decided to make my own and then go print it up. This was the prototype. And I learned one major thing. I did it wrong. Instead of doing it like this, I did it like this. Hang on. There you go. Like this. Instead of doing it up like this, I screwed up. So I had to remake the pictures that I made. I made 3 poster pictures. And they were all like this. And I had to remake them going like this. And then I did get sick. Unfortunately, my muscles were pretty messed up because I overworked trying to exercise. And then I took the injection, which it freaked me out trying to get the injection because of how crazy people have been because of the vaccine injection. So I have not been myself for on and off for a couple of months easily. So I'm going to see if I can print up some new pictures. And along with that, I thought since Bound for Glory was a new start for the Impact Wrestling, I don't know, say I'm WWE, I think it's a poster. It feels weird not having that poster there. So I'm thinking WWE and everybody there, I miss them, but not really. I just thought I'd restart everything. And that leads me to the last thing, which is the new intro. I have no idea if you're going to like it. I did not make the animations myself. I want to make this clear. There are websites where you can download background videos for your own videos. That is moving. So I found it and I added my own flair to it. Changing the color, making it very special as much as possible. I have no idea if you're going to like it. If you don't like it, I fully understand. It's not what I normally do and it looks pretty colorful. So I don't know if you'll like it or the music. If you do, leave a comment. Tell me if I did okay or I screwed up. Now that's done and it's taken me 3 minutes to do this. I hope you don't mind. I am not putting a timestamp, not happening. You're going to have to deal with it like I do. This show was chaos all around. That is the title I'm going to use and I'm sticking with it. Because I thought of changing it. No, this is the title. Chaos all around. It was a clusterfuck of a show. But that doesn't mean it's bad. No, I'm not saying that. Was there some problems with the show? Yes, some minor gripes by me. But overall, the show was actually quite good. There was a lot of action in this show. Not a huge amount of talking. It was mainly action. Now, I do commend Impact Wrestling for doing that. So I will say the booking for this show was actually good. Not all the time did they do it right. In my humble perspective, I know anyone else would be happy with what they produce. I'm going to see it for what it is. Sometimes they hit the mark, sometimes they screw up. So today they did a good job. So the opening was still in Las Vegas. And we got Moose coming out with the damn title. Everybody's still mad in the back. And when it comes to the Matt Striker and the D'Lo Brown, they're still kind of upset. But they see why Moose did what he did because he is one of the best. And they were not happy, but they understand that he's the new champ. And then right when he gets into the ring, he gets attacked by Eddie Edwards. Eddie just decides to come out and try to whoop his ass. And he gets whooped until security drags him to the back. Then Moose talks. And I know one of my subscribers, you know who you are because you're the only one who left that comment saying that Moose said something. I kind of wish you had not done that and said what you said because I wanted to be surprised. So I ask people, please don't do that from now on. You can say something surprising happened, but don't give me too much detail. Just tell me that something happened on the show, and next week you're going to find out. Please don't do it again. Because it ruins it for me. It's not fun. But he did say, this subscriber said that Moose did chew out WWE. And he did. He said that I am the better champion of anybody. I'm better than the tribal chief. I am better than the queen. I am better than the boss. I am better than anyone that is, not saying WWE, but anybody out there. And he also talks about AEW as well. Fine. Now, there is a gain to that, but also a cost. You don't know what type of interaction you're going to have with the fans that are from the other sides, because let's be honest, we fans can be very fickle. And the moment that we start chewing out another company that hasn't, they have a tendency to have an attitude, and then Twitter goes on fire. This is the reason why I'm not on Twitter. The only Twitter I have is from an amateur hour show. If you guys want to see my MMD amateur hour, just type in MMD amateur hour, take a look. I thought I'd say it because I don't really say it a lot. But you get my point. You on Twitter, a war can happen. So as he speaks that, Josh comes out. And then Josh gets into a fight with Moose. And then Josh starts bleeding from the mouth and the nose. The fight became a little bloodied. It wasn't a joke. That was blood. I believe I got the shot. I think it is. There was some blood coming from the nose and the mouth. I don't think it was just the mouth. I think it was the nose and mouth. So he did get hit in the face. So it gets interesting. Now next week, we'll have a match. 6-man tag. And I know I'm not saying him yet. I will in a moment. But I am saying there's a 6-man tag. And one individual will now be included in it, because it's going to have Josh. It's going to have Eddie. It's going to have Matt Cardona because he had a gripe. And then you got Moose convincing a Morrissey to help him, because if he wins that match, he'll give him his first shot at the title. He'll let him be his first opponent, which is fine. But Miraru, Miraru Suzuki, there you go. I believe I pronounced it somewhat right. I've always been bad with names. As a kid, I could never pronounce names. Even couldn't pronounce my own name properly. That's what you get for dyslexic. But Miraru Suzuki shows up and then starts fighting with a Josh Alexander. So he joins it. That's the only reason I took a little bit of time to do it, and that's the way it is. All right. Then we had an X Division match that I don't understand. You guys, if anybody was happy where this match was, explain why. You got Trey Miguel, the new X Division champion. The main champion wasn't going to be at the end of the show because that is not where he was. But you have the X Division champion, the newly crowned champ, who's showing a lot of good swagger, joined by his opponent, and that is Rocky, what was his name? Let me see. Romero. I believe his name was Rocky Romero. I've only seen him like now twice, so it's hard to remember. They had a great match, but the thing that gets me, why did they not trust Trey to close the show? This is not about if Ace Austin and Sabin did a great job, and I'll talk about that match next. I'm not going in order. They did a great match. But why was Trey opening the damn show? Moose didn't close the show. If it was Moose closing the show right after Austin and Chris, I can understand him not ending the show. But he wasn't. Why? That was wrong. That shows they don't have a lot of confidence in Trey. Now, many people say, well, the X Division is like the Cruiserweight. You always open the show with the Cruiserweight or the X Division. There are times you can. And now after Bound for Glory with so much change, this isn't the right time. This was stupid. Stupid. It was dumb. Dumb booking. Now, mind you, the match was not dumb. That was the second best match of the night. Now, many people say, well, there you go. That's the reason why I opened the show. No, it doesn't matter about the match quality being the second best or the best. It counts on the, how can I explain this? It counts on what's more important. Is it Ace Austin screwing over Chris Sabin? Or is it now Trey Miguel, his first true title defense, should be closing the show, not opening it. He won his match. He did a great job. But still, it was wrong. Now, Chris Sabin versus Ace Austin, where Ace was helped by Madman Fulton to win the match. It was the best match of the night. It was. It was a damn good match. It was very good, just slightly better than Trey and Rocky. Seeing that a good possibility that Ace got his nose a bit dislocated during the match, and you see Madman Fulton try and pop the sucker back into place. That's the main reason I say it's the best, because it had a little bit of realism, because he fell onto the ring rope, the bottom ring rope, his face hit the bottom ring rope, and then you got Chris kicking him in the face, which I think did dislocate his nose. And that is when you got Madman going, trying to get it going, ah! And at the end of the match, when Ace won, he's going, trying to blow whatever, trying to clear his nose, because he might have got it actually dislocated. I can't tell if it was or not. I don't know. He might have not. That could have just been playing into the crowd. I will say that it was the best match, but it should have opened the show. I'm sorry. It was the better match, yes. But it does not mean it should have ended the show. It should have opened it. I'm just saying. Now, we had a lot of attacks throughout the night. We did. And it was quite interesting to see how many fights we got. We got in the back with Josh Alexander fighting against, guess who? He was so angry at Brian for actually allowing that match to begin while his son, and it's his son, it's not his daughter. He has no girls. As far as I know, he has 2 sons. Because I've heard some people say that Josh Alexander and his daughter and his wife was in the ring. No, it's his son. It's just he looks very girly. I know that feeling because I looked girly when I was young. I don't look like it anymore because I look like an ugly old man, but still. He was angry at the Brian Hebner, and it is Scott D'Amore in his moment saying, calm yourself. Stop. You do not need this. Don't do this. You're going to get your hands on Moose next week in the 6-man tag, but you need to prove that what Christian said isn't true, that you allow your emotions to get the better of you. You are the best there is. You proved it when you beat Christian. You proved it. And I understand how angry you are that your wife and your son was in danger. I know that wasn't right what Brian did. You can easily debate it, and it wasn't right what he did, letting Moose attack you and start the match while your wife and your child was still in the damn ring. But still, there's no need to act like this. You must keep yourself calm and focused and prove not only was Christian wrong about you being one of the best, but also about you letting your emotions get the runaway. Control it, focus it, and get your hands on Moose, and then win the damn title back. Because I know you can, because I chose you years ago for that purpose. I knew that you make a mark and impact, and you did. You can do it again. That's what he said. And I felt that to be one of the better, almost one of the best segments of the show. Actually, it was the best segment of the show. There wasn't any segment that was better than that. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. Now, the other segment that was very interesting was Demon. Now, I have been told, because I've said this before and I'll say it again, between 92 until 2001 to 2, I could not watch wrestling on a constant basis. I couldn't. I was going to school, I was working, and then I got married on top of that. So my wife didn't like wrestling, and with so little time, maybe once a month, I saw wrestling maybe once for maybe 10 to 20 or 30 minutes if I could. So I barely watched wrestling over a decade to a decade. I barely knew, so I never saw the Demon wrestle. But now, the Demon is in Impact. Johnny Swinger's mad that 1, he couldn't get his signed autograph. 2, that Swingers Palace had to be shut down because they came to Las Vegas, and he's been reminded that he doesn't have a Swingers Palace. And he really hates the Demon, at least until Crazy Steve and Black Tyru came out and was right by his side. And I believe I got a shot at that in my face. Is that telling you, is the Demon part of Decay now? In actuality, I think that would be a good thing. I wouldn't mind seeing Decay with the Demon. I actually, sorry, for some reason, my camera keeps going out of focus. I think it's a great thing to see an extra person now coming into Decay, if he is. I'm hoping he is. Now, how old is the guy? Is he his early 50s? That's the question. Can he still go very well? Because there was no way I could tell from the gauntlet match. I don't know if he can really go or not. So hopefully he can. Let's move on to... I gotta do it. Yeah, my face. I have to say this. The Inspiration. Their theme music and theme song and their Titantron video looks sexy. It looks deliciously sexy. Who doesn't want to have either one of them? They're both beautiful women. Who doesn't want to grab some booby, kiss some face because they're both beautiful, and make them theirs? Male and female alike would agree. But when you see them in the room, see them dressed the way they were, which they were both sexy, I wonder three things. One, where they're going to go with them storyline wise. Where? Because you have very few teams in Impact Wrestling. And if they don't bring in women from outside to feed them to Inspiration, it's not going to mean a lot. It's going to be no different than before. You just bring an extra tag team and eventually we will go through the same things before. We will go through a whole bunch of people. That will mean nothing. How many women do we have in a tag team? DK? You got the Steels and Evans. You got what? You're going to have Jordan Grace and Rachel? Yeah. And maybe one more? Counting Inspiration? Yes, they may say that's like 5 teams, but that doesn't last very long because you go through them over and over and over again, and kicker is these women will double as the knockouts, normal wrestlers. If they were just specific tag wrestlers, there you go. But they're also going to be doubling as regular wrestlers going after the Knockouts title from Mickie James, which is going to make it very, very, very boring after a while. Because we'll see the same women going after each other over and over again because they don't have enough women on the roster. I'm just saying. The third, I believe this is the second, is, where's Tennille Dashwood? Where is Tennille Dashwood? Is she hurt? Did her contract expire? You can tell me below. If she's hurt, then that would make sense. She might have been hurt. If she hasn't been hurt, where the hell is she? Where? And third and final, which kind of goes along with Tennille Dashwood, what story can they do without her? Because that kind of goes along with the first and the second. Tennille not being there, what about Inspiration working with her? Through either the Influence or by herself. And then what happened to the Influence? What they could have done a story between the Influence dealing with the Inspiration where they're trying to get Tennille away from the Madison Rayne. Which now leads me into the segment of the new Knockouts champion, Mickie James. Miss James, oh, I gotta show this shot in my face. Showing some booby. I believe I got that shot. If I don't have that shot, I'm gonna be so angry at myself. But I should have that shot. Nice. Now, she's happy. And the only problem I had was that the crowd was not very loud. They were not loud. There was a lot of people in there. There was not that many. I gotta say this. 2 things of production. 1, the lighting was not that good. The lighting was kind of bad. It was a little too dim. 2, audio was not spotty, but it was a little low. It felt low at most points throughout the show. But the fans were not very loud. They were not loud at all. They were actually kind of subdued. And I'm going like, why? What happened? But I'm just saying. And then this kind of leads me back to the previous part about Inspiration. Instead of Tennille Dashwood coming out with a Madison Rayne, it's only Madison Rayne and Caleb with a K. What happened to Tennille? Is she hurt? Is she sick? Did her contract expire? That's a big question to be asked. I'm hoping she's all right. And I'm hoping that there was a situation that she could not participate. And she's not injured. Or she's not sick with COVID. That's what I'm hoping. But pretty much, you now are going to have a match between a Mickie James versus a Madison Rayne, which I don't want to see now. I'd rather see Tennille Dashwood get this spot. But if she's not there, they had to throw Madison Rayne from the influence. I'm botching because it makes me angry that something might have happened to Tennille. And that a spot that could have been meant for her now doesn't exist. And then you don't have a Deonna Purrazzo there. Or a Matthew Rinwald either. He's not shown on this show either. Maybe next show we'll see them. You never know. Next, we have Rachel Ellering versus Tasha Steelz. They're my faves. I believe I got a shot at them both. Guys, I need your observation. Because the way it looks for me personally, there was no problem with the interview beforehand. When it was with Jordan and Rachel, then Tasha and Evans come out. There's no problem. And nothing was wrong with Rachel said about the Rachel. Rachel said, I think the reason I'm botching is because I'm second guessing myself. Because when you watch the match between Rachel and Tasha, you see two things. One, Tasha has grown a lot in the last year. When she was working Fire and Flavor, the Hood Rats themselves, she really expanded herself in her attitude in the ring. And not saying that she was bad in the ring, but she did improve to a certain extent. And she's grown, and I give her huge props. But when you look at Rachel, guys, has Rachel got out of shape and is not doing well? What's going on? It's not because she has a gut in her, with her ring attire, you can see she has a belly. That's not what I'm talking about. It's about her ring work. What's going on? Because beforehand, I know Rachel wasn't one of the most fastest or strongest wrestlers there, but even with Tasha, she could throw around like she was nothing. She was that strong. Midway through the match, she could barely lift her. Is there something wrong with Rachel? Or is it just me? What was going on? Is she out of shape? Was she hurt? Maybe she's actually injured and she's trying to work through it. Because there are a lot of wrestlers who will continue working even though they're hurt because they don't want to go out. So what's going on? Could she be injured? Could she be out of shape? What's the deal? She won the match, but what's going on? Next, a very interesting match. You got the Heath versus Joe Doiling. Now, this is not about seeing Rhino by the ringside. He was never presented the most there. This is about the ring work inside and what happened afterward, because the match itself didn't matter. Didn't matter because it was thrown out. This was about Eric Young, who begged Rhino not to harm him because he's supposedly hurt, turned around and beat the shit out of Rhino, and it means EY may be cleared to wrestle. How many months has he been out? 5, 6 months? I think at least. I can't remember how many months he's been unable to wrestle. But it looks like he's able to wrestle again. Yes. Finally, Eric Young can finally go back to being the leader of Violence by Design and wrestle again. They destroyed them both. Now the question's going to be, if he is able to wrestle, who will he be going after? Will he be going after Rhino first or Heath? I don't know yet. You guys tell me below. Now, what do we got here? The last thing to talk about. I think I covered everything. Did I really cover everything? Pretty much, that's it. I did cover everything, and if I forgot something, well, there you go. Was this a good show? Yes, it was. Like I said, opening up this review, it actually was a very good show. There's several things I was not agreeing with, wondering what's going on. What happened to Tennille? Is she injured? Is her contract expired? Did she get sick with COVID? Was there a reason she could not be there? Why was Trey and Rocky Romero opening the show instead of closing the show? Why did Saban and Ace Austin, yes, they were a better match because their ring work was slightly better. Why did they close the show instead of opened it? Why? Why? I don't get it. Why? I don't like it. That made no sense. A lot of good video packages. Well, not video packages. A lot of good interviews. There you go. That's better than video packages. A lot of the interviews. I'm not 100% against the inspiration. I just don't know where they're going to go with them because they should have never won the title so soon. I don't care what anyone says. That's bad booking. And if you say it's because of ex-WWE, doesn't matter anymore. Guys, who cares to ex-WWE? You must care about what they are now. They are Impact. And if the writers, and I've said this for so many years, the writers must get this right. And they don't always hit the mark. I am hoping that this doesn't fall on his face and make them look like morons. But the booking here, the writing here was actually quite good. I will tell you, this was a good show. And the writing and the booking, other than the positions of the card, was fine. You will enjoy both matches. You'll enjoy seeing the Demon with Steve and Black Tyru. It looks like he may join DK. Hopefully he will. I'm hoping they'll show everybody else next week, but you never know. And this is my review of Impact Wrestling. Please give me a comment below. I hope you did enjoy the new intro. I have no idea if you're going to enjoy it. I admit I've been nervous for days because when I make these intros, I don't just make them once. There's more than a few times I have to redo them because I discover I messed up on something and have to remake it maybe 4 or 5 times before I get it right. This intro took me like 6 times to get it right. For the lighting, for the images, the music. And after that, I kept looking at it just to see if I forgot anything. So if you don't like it, it's cool. I know. I can't be perfect at anything I do. So I'm hoping you at least accept it's acceptable. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.